Hello, this is Steve Halleck with TikToking. As always, you can find me on Instagram at Steve Halleck, SteveHallock, or check out my website, TikToking.com, to see a bunch of cool watches. Anyway, today I have one of my favorite watches from one of my favorite brands. This is the Bethune DB28 Tourbillon. Now, for those of you who have seen my DB28 video, the regular DB28 from about a year and a half ago, and anybody who's talked to me knows that Bethune, to me, makes really some of the best watches in the world. I mean, it's like Bethune, maybe Grubel, and nobody else really comes close. And you could make an argument for some of these being even better. However, unfortunately, Bethune does a really bad job of telling people how great their watches are. So I'm going to try to do some of that for them. Today, this is like the coolest watch that they make, basically. The DB28 case is just insane. It's just so cool. And the case on the Tourbillon is the same as the case on the regular DB28. So you can check out my other video for some more info on that, but I'll go over the basics again here. Basically, you've got like two separate pieces to the case. I mean, there's more than two, but there's mainly two big sections. You've got this inner case, which in this version is rose gold. And then you've got the lugs, which are really real articulating lugs. You know, some people make them so they move like a tiny bit. These are the real deal. And these are anthracite colored zirconium in this version. And you can see they're hinged on either side here, and they move a lot. So this makes this one of the most comfortable watches in the world to actually wear. It super hugs the wrist, and I'll show you that at the end. But the first thing you notice whenever you see a Bethune is that the finish is insane. Insane. I don't know if you can even compare any other finish to some of the things they're able to do with these. The black polish is ridiculous. These angled bevels are just absurd. The hands are like out of control. And the case itself is so incredibly polished that it's hard to even keep it clean. It's like a mirror, and it really picks up fingerprints and dust and stuff like that. So I apologize for any of that in the video, but that's something you gotta get used to on this watch. So again, this is the rose and zirconium version. I think it's really cool. The rose that they use is very kind of understated, and the zirconium really chills it out. And so it doesn't come across blingy, but it does give that sort of luxury edge instead of being just totally just like a spacecraft machine. At least it's a spacecraft luxury machine. You know, this is what the rich aliens would wear, I guess. But again, this is the DB28T, the Tourbillon version. So let's get into the Tourbillon because it's a little bit different than almost anybody else's. So there's a bunch of patents in this movement. You've got a self-regulating twin barrel. So you can see them right there. You've got a silicon and white gold balance with a balance spring that's got a flat terminal curve. So that means that the actual way that they curve the balance spring is a patented method. I don't want to get super technical here, but all of these are patented innovations to help this thing keep better time, right? You've also got a silicon and titanium tourbillon. It's one of the lightest tourbillons ever made. It might actually be the lightest. I just don't want to say that it is because I don't know for sure, but I would bet that it is. It's 0.18 grams for the whole thing. And because of that, they make it run at 30 seconds instead of 1 minute. So almost every tourbillon you'll ever see, it goes around in 1 minute. Or like the Grubel double is 4 minutes on the outside and 1 minute on the inside. Generally, like a 1 minute rotation is normal. This goes around twice in a minute, right? And the reason for that is if the faster it goes, basically, the better rate keeping you're gonna get. And as Bethune says, you know, tourbillons, as we know, aren't necessarily ideal for the wrist. They were great with a pocket watch. But if you make it go double as fast, it does that much better in isolating issues arising from actually being on the wrist. And so they kind of hail this as the first tourbillon really made for the wrist. And in my experience, it does keep great time, and it also makes it even that much more fun to look at because it's going double as fast, right? So you've also got a silicone escape wheel. You got all sorts of parts here. One of the things Bethune does, which again, they do just an awful job of explaining this, but they probably make the most parts of their watch in-house of maybe anybody on the planet. And they're actually innovating in every single part. I mean, how many brands do you know that are like making their own springs and innovating on the actual manufacture of that, or tourbillon cages, or balance wheels? Nobody makes their own balance wheels, and yet Bethune not only makes their balance wheel, but actually makes it in a completely new and unique way out of new materials, and so just really impressive what they do, and I really wish that more people knew how great what they make is. But you can see here, the actual Terbium Bridge is particularly cool. This is a little detail that you wouldn't necessarily notice from pictures, but it actually goes under this thing and anchors out there. So those are the two anchors of the bridge, and this is actually a very thin ring, and they go under this ring and over to there. If you check out my Instagram, I have some serious sort of heavy-duty macro shots of this, and you can check it out. But again, I just really want to show you like the finishing on all these surfaces, because you really can't see anything like it in any other piece. Let's see how close I can get this to focus for you. Oh, not that close. But here we're pretty close. And just check that out. I mean, totally insane, right? All right, so it's a manual wind movement. There's your crown. It's a screw crown, so you got to screw it out, wind it, pull it out to set it. And you've got a 5-day power reserve. So the power reserve is here on the back, and that'll wind all the way up to there. 5 days is a nice, it's a nice amount of time. That's actually, I really like to have, 3 to 7 days of power reserve. It's actually a really useful feature in a watch because, let's face it, probably people aren't going to wear this watch every single day. So you can put it in your safe, wear it every 5 days or something like that, and it's still in time. Now, I want to just take 1 second to show you the strap. The strap on this watch is incredibly nice. It's maybe the nicest strap of any watch manufacturer. And more I'm starting to realize that a good strap really makes a watch. Because I've had some really great watches where the designers didn't really think about how the straps go in and didn't really think of the materials. And it really makes the watch not that nice to have. But Bethune makes these croc-back straps that are super flexible and soft. They're like the softest croc straps that I've ever used. And it really helps make the watch super comfortable. Again, with these lugs, it's already really comfortable, so the straps really work well on that. The buckle also is really cool. It goes with the rest of the watch with this mix of zirconium and rose gold, and it's got this, it's just really neat design. So let me put it on the wrist and show you. So here you can see how the lugs, look how they pull down on the wrist, and the watch kind of comes out almost and stays flat with your field of view, while the lugs go all the way in on the wrist. Now there are two choices with Bethunes. They have long lugs and short lugs. These are the short lugs, and I find that they fit better on my wrist. My wrist is about 7 inches. If you look at my video review of the DB28 from a while ago, that has the longer lugs, and so you can see the difference. But again, these are the short lugs. So this is it on the wrist. You can see it's just spectacular. I mean, that is a watch that anybody knows is really special, but it's not over the top, and it's not a show-offy watch. It's just this is somebody who has really good taste and cares about watches, right? There's obviously something incredible going on here, and it looks like there's so much life to it because of these springy lugs. It always looks like it's going to kind of jump off your wrist. It's got movement. It looks like it's from the future. It's spectacular. I don't even know. Words can't justify how cool this watch is. So hopefully the video does, at least a little bit, and I hope you have a little bit more of an appreciation for this incredibly rarely seen watch and rarely seen brand. And anyway, that's all I got. Bethune DB28 Tourbillon, check it out if you can. And again, check me out on Instagram at Steve Halleck and at TikToking.com. Thanks.